In this presentation, I would like to present Catastrophe in the New Testament. The definition catastrophe in the Cambridge Dictionary is a sudden event that causes great suffering or destruction. Catastrophe comes from the Greek word katastrophe. In general, catastrophe means destruction, overthrow, or ruin. It means turning upside down and hence is the antithesis of edification. Catastrophe occurs only 2 times in the New Testament, 2 Timothy 2, verse 14, and 2 Peter 2, verse 6. This presentation tries to elaborate these 2 verses in their own context in order to reveal the wider meaning of catastrophe in the New Testament. First, 2 Timothy 2, verse 14. This is the Greek version of 2 Timothy 2, verse 14, and we can find the word catastrophe there. And this is the English version. Remind them of these things and solemnly charge them in the presence of God not to wrangle about words which is useless and leads to the ruin of the hearers. 2 Timothy 2:14 is a part of 2 Timothy 2:14 until 26. The title of this pericope is A Worker Approved by God. The context of 2 Timothy 2:14 until 26 is a part of condemnation of apostate ideas that seems to have infiltrated the ecclesia as early as 65 CE. In the early church, the majority of false teachers do not have enough skill in the scriptures to discern truth from error. At 2 Timothy 2:14, catastrophe is in the context of spiritual ruin. Paul tries to remind people to avoid a useless debate about words, empty speeches, and ungodly rumors of the doctrine. Then he advises them to do your best to present yourself to God as one approved, a worker who does not need to be ashamed and who correctly handles the word of truth. So in this context, catastrophe have a meaning about the spiritual ruin. Second, 2 Peter 2, verse 6. This is the Greek version of 2 Peter 2, verse 6, and we can find also catastrophe in this verse. And this is the English version. And if he condemned the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah to destruction by reducing them to ashes, having made them an example to those who would live ungodly thereafter. The context of 2 Peter 2:1 until 22 is concerned with false prophets in terms of their doom, their depravity, and their deceptions. At 2 Peter 2, verse 6, catastrophe is in the physical destruction context. Catastrophe in 2 Peter 2, verse 6 has a connection to Genesis 18:19 about Sodom and Gomorrah, and also the Greek mythology, Tartarus. Tartarus is the Greek name for the underworld. In this context, 2 Peter is signaling his attempt to address a multicultural audience. So in 2 Peter 2, verse 6, we can find that catastrophe has a meaning physical destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah, and this is to explain a spiritual ruin of the false prophets. So the conclusion, the catastrophe in the New Testament, that catastrophe can be a physical destruction and spiritual ruin. But in the end of the meaning of catastrophe, catastrophe always has a link with a spiritual ruin. Thank you very much.